Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Next Come Up Show, where we let you in on who and what is next on television, in film, and entertainment news. I'm your host, Stephen Strickland, and I'm very excited to have this guest with me here today. His film, The Mark, has been accepted into the 24th Annual American Black Film Festival. He is one of the producers, and we're looking forward to talking to him about his film. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome Mr. Devin E. Hock. How you doing, Devin?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much, Stephen. It's a pleasure to be with you right now. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited about ABFF, about this interview, and yeah, it's a great day.
All right, cool. Well, I'm not the first, but let me congratulate you on your film being accepted into ABFF. I know that's a big thing, and it's an honor.
Yeah.
How do you feel about how do you feel about it being virtual this year because of this whole pandemic?
Yeah, well, there's nothing like the live event, the in-person film festival experience, especially ABFF, because ABFF is one of these unique festivals where it has an industry focus, but it also has a focus on the fans and the audience and the people who actually buy tickets to see movies. So it's a really great sort of community experience. And you have all the celebrities, all the A-list Hollywood, Black Hollywood people, but you also have the folks who are there, who are loving movies, who are the ones who make our careers possible. So there's nothing like that. But I will say, I'm excited that they continued and didn't postpone the festival. And
Right.
With it being virtual, I think there's actually an opportunity for our work to reach a larger audience. It's accessible to anybody everywhere. A lot of people can't afford to fly down to Miami for the festival,
Right.
even though they might want to. So now they can just, register, log on, get a pass, and they can watch the movies. So I think we're going to reach more people, and that is exciting.
All right, cool. So tell us a little bit about your film, The Mark.
The Mark, it's a chilling story driven by women. It explores the themes of isolation and grief, which I feel, seem to resonate now more deeply than when the film was initially made, considering everything we're going through. It's the story of a young single mother and her struggle against these ominous forces whom she believes are bent on taking her infant daughter. And it stars some phenomenal women, Kana Takayama, Catherine Curtin, and Maho Honda, who are all part of this sort of de facto Netflix ensemble that's been created.
Right.
It's a great cast, great story, really, really disturbing and thrilling, and I think people are
Yes.
gonna.
Yeah, I had the opportunity, of checking it out, to be prepped for this interview, and yes. I like the word disturbing that you used. Cool.
Yeah.
So why this film? What about this film made you say, hey, yes, that's the next film I'm gonna produce?
Yeah, well, I'm not only the producer, I wrote it and I directed it as well. So the idea sort of came to me around the time that my wife and I were, in the process of being pregnant and expecting our first child.
Okay.
And so I was thinking a lot about being a father and all the joy that came with that, but also all the anxiety too. So this movie kind of allowed me to explore, my feelings through the medium of cinema. And, I just felt like I just needed to get a movie out there. I need to get these feelings that I was going through out. A lot of people say, well, this is the idea you came up with when you were pregnant. I'm like, well, I guess that's just my imagination. I'm into
Right.
sort of horror films and thrillers, and so that's just the way my mind works. But yeah, it was therapeutic, and I'm really happy with the outcome.
All right, cool. Again, congratulations. So where are you from? Where are you joining us from now?
Well, I'm in Brooklyn. I've been
Okay.
based in New York for a long time, but I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. That's my hometown. But yeah, I'm a New Yorker now. I've been here for enough time to call myself a New Yorker.
Right. So you mentioned the cast as a plethora of Netflix stars. How was the casting process for you?
Well, with like all of my projects, I try to cast people I know. So these are all friends of mine, people that I've worked with before, have prior relationships with. That's where I start whenever I'm making something. I always think about the people I know. I only really hold casting sessions if it's a unique role that I don't know the person and I need to find that individual. So for example, there's a baby in the movie, obviously. And initially I wanted to use a friend of mine's baby because she was also, this little child was also a part of my inspiration for the script. As I wrote the script, I saw this baby in mind, but then my friend's husband read the father of this baby read the script and he was like, nah, my baby's not doing this movie. so I had to do a casting search for the baby, which was very interesting. And it was a challenge. I never worked with a baby on set before, so I learned a lot and not really interested in going down that road again anytime soon.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's funny. That's funny. So why do you think ABFF honored you by selecting your film?
Well, that's a question I can't really answer. I will say that I'm very grateful to be back at ABFF. In 2017, my feature film Ambition's Debt won the Grand Jury Award for Best Narrative Feature at ABFF. And, thank you so much. Yeah, having that happen to me really put me in conversations that I previously didn't have access to. And I just wanted to make another movie and get back out on the festival circuit as soon as possible. And a lot of the feature film ideas that I have developed, require a lot more resources. And I don't like to wait. I want to do what I can do in the moment. So making a short, was something that was doable. And ABFF was the first festival that I had on my list, and I sent it to them right away. And you just never know. Just because you're an alumni of a festival doesn't mean you're automatically going to get in. You still got to bring the heat,
Yeah,
so, and especially, ABFF has a lot of, a lot of people want their films there. The competition is really high, and they had thousands of submissions. So I feel really honored that I was able to make the cut and be a part of this emerging director showcase. I don't take it for granted at all.
Awesome. So, during the process of, making this film, from the producer's standpoint, from the writer's standpoint, from the director's standpoint, were there any obstacles or setbacks aside from the baby that, and if so, how did you fix them or overcome them?
Man, well, there's always obstacles and setbacks as an independent filmmaker, but also, as a filmmaker that was working in the studio system. But I would say, the independent filmmaker, the one thing that I always bump up against is just time, not having enough time, trying to cram in all these, all this coverage and all these scenes in your day that you really shouldn't be doing. You should spread them out across more days, but you don't have the money to pay for that. So you try to jam everything in. Inevitably, you end up losing things and not being able to film stuff that you really wanted. That happened with this film. There were a couple shots that I really felt like I really needed. I didn't get to get, but that's just the nature of it. The other thing specifically to this project that was a challenge was the apartment that we found. We found a great apartment for the location of our main character where she lives. It looked great. It had all the kind of stuff we needed, but it was a real New York City apartment, which means it was narrow and confined, and it was a 6th floor walk up, no elevator. So I almost had a mutiny from the crew on the second day of filming in that location because there was no place to sit, no holding. Everything was cluttered with equipment, and people were just finding their wherever they could, kind of like a nook or cranny or crevice where they could, And then, we were running long on this day, and the crew was already pissed. They had to carry all their equipment up the stairs, right? So now we're almost at overtime, and the DP came up to me and was like, yeah, at this time, at 8 o'clock, everyone's leaving, so I don't know what you're going to do. I was like, cool, man. I ended up carrying all the equipment down out of that location by myself, and I felt like, hey, I'll do this. You guys are making a sacrifice working on this film for less than what you normally make when you're working for the networks. I understand this location is really shitty. I got it. And I just sucked it up. And I was the one who unloaded everything out of that apartment and bought the whole crew smoothies so they would be happy. But you gotta do that. You gotta be always conscious of the morale of your crew and try to do things to make people feel appreciated. That was tough. That was tough.
I feel you. So I know you said, this is a welcome back for you to, ABFF. What are you? What do you expect from ABFF? You know, the second time around.
Yeah, that's a real
Well, not
great
even the
question.
second time around. Initially, what do you expect going into ABFF?
Well, I mean, you just want as many people, I want as many people to see my film as possible. And I hope that people see it who can perhaps help me along on my journey. You know, these gatekeepers that we talk about, or anybody who's sort of like in a position to move me up to the next level. You know, that's what I'm hoping I get out of this. And it does happen. It happened last time I was at ABFF. So it can happen. ABFF is a great platform for independent filmmakers, especially filmmakers of color, to get their work out there, seen not only by audiences, but also by the industry. Everybody's looking at ABFF. Of some of the greatest filmmakers we have today came from ABFF, like Ryan Coogler and many, many others. So it's an honor to be here, and I know that it means something in the industry. So I just want to, you know, it's up to me really to do the work to capitalize off of it. But as far as the experience of the festival, I just hope as many people see my work as possible. That's why I'm making movies. I want to tell my stories. I want to reach as many people as possible with those stories.
What do you think makes your film different than any of the other films in ABFF, or what are the similarities?
Well, I think, you know, there probably aren't as many films that are telling a story from Asian American perspective in ABFF. There may be some, but I know ours will stand out as one. I mean, our film is actually, you know, multilingual film, but most of the dialogue is in Japanese with English subtitles. It's a film that is like the cast is entirely made up of women. I think that's something that helps it to stand out. And so, you know, it's exploring these themes of isolation and grief within this thriller genre, from the woman's point of view, and not only from a woman's point of view, but an Asian woman's point of view.
Okay, that's definitely different. Yeah. So, what would you say is next for you? What's next for you? What's next for the film?
Yeah, we have other festivals that have, you know, given us acceptances that we're just not able to announce yet publicly, and I'm very excited about those. And some of them are really, really high profile, which is really great. As for myself, you know, I was a finalist in the HBO Access Directing Fellowship this year, and so even though I didn't move on to actually get the fellowship, I was told by the execs at HBO that I'm now in the family and that I can look forward to some opportunities to shadow directors on episodics when production opens back up, which I'm looking forward to. And, you know, I'm working on, I have a feature film script that I co-wrote with Keith Joseph Atkins, who's one of the writers on P-Valley and The Outer Banks and a couple other great shows. So he and I have this script. It's out there right now. We're trying to find producers for that. And I'm in the process of writing my next feature film, another horror film, sci-fi horror this time. So yeah, I'm just staying busy, man. A lot of irons on the fire. Just got to keep hustling, keep trying to tank out the work. Yeah, you know, that's all I can do. And I also have a short film that won a lot of awards. The script did, and I'm really hoping that when production comes back on, that I'll be able to make that. I think that'll be the next thing that I actually direct.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, you know, what I'm about to say, I don't know if it's going to be edited out or not, but, you know, it's up to the producer. But I'm an actor, so I reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you based?
I'm in Jersey.
Oh, cool.
I'm in Jersey, so boom, right over. So yeah. I can get this. I'm a New York local hire. So
yeah.
But before we go, what words of wisdom and or advice would you have for up and coming filmmakers and or filmmakers who maybe are not up and coming but are there already, and or filmmakers that didn't get accepted into the festival? What words of wisdom or advice would you have for them?
Well, I don't know about wisdom, but I'm still working on trying to become wise. But I will say, you know, my experience has taught me that rejection is really just part of the game. You know, like as an actor, as a filmmaker, you know, you have to be okay with rejection and not take it personal, and know that it's not a reflection on your work. So if you submit somewhere and you don't get accepted, that doesn't mean your work isn't good, and that doesn't mean you should give up. It just means that for whatever reason, it wasn't a fit at that time. I mean, you should see all the rejection letters. Just, we got into ABFF and we got into a couple other really great festivals so far, but juxtaposed against those great acceptances is a mountain of rejections from places that I really, really had my heart set on putting my movie in. So that's just how it goes. I think you got to always be mindful and continue to think about and reflect on all the blessings that you have, all the things that are going well for you. You know, it's easy to latch onto that disappointment and let that cloud everything. But, you know, if you really take stock, you can find that, you know, actually you're doing all right. And you got a lot of great things happening in your life. And that's what you got to keep your focus on. And then, you know, just like believing in yourself and moving forward. That's all, you know, if you really know deep in your heart, this is what you're supposed to be doing, don't let any rejection or any negative comment, you know, put you off your path. That's where you need to be, and you just got to stay with it.
All right, cool. How's your wife and child? I forgot to ask that earlier when you talked about the inspiration for the film. How are they?
You see the smile.
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah, yo, it's great. Being a father, is a new father, is amazing. The boy is now 1 year old. It's like 13 months, and he just started walking like a couple of days ago.
Yes.
And man, it's something else. We're really fortunate right now. So I know there's a lot of pain in the world, a lot of grief, and my heart goes out to people who are suffering. And I'm really grateful and thankful that within the context of this isolation and this lockdown, that I'm able to share this time with my family, and knock on wood, we're all healthy and happy. And yeah,
there is a silver lining to this whole thing. You know, it gives us an opportunity to do things that we were procrastinating. It gives us time to spend time with people we haven't spent time with, and to just take a breather and reset, you know, because the world goes by so fast. We all need that pause button every now and then. And, you know, although, you know, the bad things, this thing does come with good things. So
yeah, that's real talk. That's real talk. You know, like this script that I'm working on now, I've been putting it off forever, you know, because it's such a painstaking and tedious process to write scripts. And after Keith and I finished our thing, I was like, I don't know if I got the energy to do this again. But now I have no excuse. Like, what I'm gonna do? Just sit around watching TV all day? Like, let me get on this thing. And it's like, it's just coming out of me. It's just coming out. So yeah, there's always a silver lining.
Awesome. So let everybody know where we can find you, where we can follow you.
You know, I love IG, so you can hit me up on IG at Devin, DEVIN _E_HAQQ.
Cool.
That's my IG, and pretty much, I mean, I have a Twitter account too, Devin E. Hawk, but you know, really, IG is where I spend most of my time.
Huh? Yeah. All right, cool. Well, Devin E. Hogg, I want to thank you for being a guest on the Next Come Up show. Again, congratulations on your film being accepted into the 24th Annual American Black Film Festival, The Mark. And congratulations on everything. And I wish you continued success in the Next Come Up show. I am your host, Mr. Steven Strickland. As always, remember, do what you love and love what you do.